Alright then guys, welcome back to another video on the channel. Today I'm going to do my score predictions for the championship for all the way up to New Year's Day. I'm going to do them for Boxing Day, the 29th and New Year's Day. There's no point in doing all the separate videos for it. Plus I'm working over the Christmas period, so it's just easier to do it all in one video. So for for Boxing Day, first game is Birmingham versus Stoke. I've said 2-2 for that game. Can't remember how many games it is now, but Stoke are unbeaten in so many games. I think it's like 7. Also, Birmingham, they're doing well this season. They're up near the playoffs, so they'll be wanting a win from this. But I just think Stoke will hold them to a draw away from home. Stoke are starting to move up the table. Were starting off really quite bad for what they'd want to be doing. But now they're sneaking up the table, and I've said 2-2 for that game, Stoke versus Birmingham. And then Bolton versus Rotherham, I've gone for a 1-0 Rotherham win. Rotherham at the minute are just outside of the relegation zone. Bolton are obviously in the relegation zone, but I think Rotherham are going to just go there, get a win, and add to their 3 points to get them, secure them safety. Obviously, this is the game where they need to be getting 3 points, if any. And then I've Bristol City versus Brentford. I've said a 2-1 Bristol City win. Obviously, Bristol City being at home. Bristol City and Brentford are both lower than what the fans would want them to be this season. And I just think that Bristol City are going to get the win at home, to be fair. And then Leeds versus Blackburn. I've said 3-0 Leeds win. The top of the league, they're absolutely buzzing. They need to keep adding to winning, getting wins and stuff. And this is one game where they can easily get a win. So I said 3-0 Leeds win for that one. Middlesbrough versus Sheffield Wednesday, I've said a 2-0 Borough win. I just think that Borough, they started to hit a bit of a bad patch. And I think beating Reading, I know they're only a small side, but it might have boosted their confidence up. They know they can win. And I just think they'll beat Sheffield Wednesday 2-0. Millwall versus Reading, I've said a 0-0 draw. Both teams need the points, really. Both near the bottom end of the table, struggling. So I just think that, we know Reading's not going to go to the Den and get a win. Well, I don't think they are. I'll look a bit stupid now if they do. But I just don't think they'll go to the Den and get a win. I think it'll be a draw. Then Norwich versus Forest, Nottingham Forest. I've said a 2-1 Norwich win. Norwich are second in the league. They're fighting with Leeds for that first place position. Forest, they drew to Derby and then lost to QPR, so that's not very good for them. And I just think that Norwich are going to be too strong for them, and it's at Norwich's ground, so I just think that Norwich will be too strong for them. Then Preston versus Hull, I've said a 2-1 Hull City win. All of it in a bit of good form at the minute, and I think their heads will be high and they'll carry it on here. Obviously, Preston aren't as high as what they'd expect to be, but I've said a 2-1 all win. I just think they'll go there and get the win. QPR versus Ipswich. I have said a 3-1 QPR win. It's at QPR's ground. Obviously, Ipswich are bottom of the league. And I just think QPR will be way too strong for them. QPR started off the season really poorly, and now Stevie Mac scoring playing a bit better. So I just think 3-1 to QPR. Sheffield United versus Derby. I've said a 1-1 draw. I don't think we're going to go there and get the win. We've just had too many draws a minute. This is a must-win for either side. So I just think it's going to be a draw. I would take a draw probably away from home. But then again, we've got Norwich the game after, so we need to be picking up. We need to be getting 3 points on the board and not just one. Then Swansea versus Villa. I've said 2-0 Villa. I just think that Villa are going to want to go get 3 points, especially after losing to Leeds on Sunday. They need this. So I just think they'll go and get the win. Then West Brom versus Wigan. I have said a 3-0 West Brom win. West Brom's on fire at the minute, and I think that'll be the same case against Wigan. So that's for Boxing Day, guys. Make sure you comment your score predictions for Boxing Day. And now let's move on to the 29th of December. Right, so moving on to the Saturday games then. Saturday the 29th of December. Birmingham versus Brentford. I've said a 2-0 Birmingham win. You know, Birmingham, they're the home side. Brentford aren't doing so well this season. Birmingham are doing quite well, to be fair. And this is a game where Birmingham need to be taking advantage of the 3 points at home and grabbing them 3 points. I've said 2-0 to Birmingham. Then Bolton versus Stoke. I've said 2-0 Stoke. Obviously, it is at Bolton's ground. Bolton are struggling in the table. Stoke starting to move up the table, you know, better than what they were at the start of the season. And I think they'll grab 3 points from Bolton. It's a game where they must pick 3 points from. Then Bristol City versus Rotherham. I've said 2-1 Bristol City win. Unfortunately, I don't think Rotherham will go there and get a win. I don't think they'll even go and get a draw. That's why I've said 2-1 Bristol City. But anything in the Championship can happen. But I've said 2-1 Bristol City win. Then Leeds versus Hull. I've said a 2-1 Leeds. I do think Leeds will get the win because they're at home and stuff like that. But I think Hull, they've got a bit of form at the minute, so I think they'll go there and get a goal. And I think it'll be a tight game, even though they're quite far apart in the table. I do think it'll be a close game. And then Middlesbrough versus Ipswich. I've said a 3-1 Middlesbrough win. I just think that Borough will hold them to they'll just go out and get a win against them. Ipswich are bottom of the league. Middlesbrough are in the playoffs, and they need wins against the teams like Ipswich. And then Millwall versus Forest. I have said a 1-1 draw. You know, I think Millwall are just going to try and hold and get a point at the Den. You know, any point's better than none. It's better than losing. So I think that Millwall are going to get another draw then against Forest. And then Norwich versus Derby. I've said 2-1 Norwich. I don't think that we'll be able to go there. I don't think we'll be able to get a win. I don't think we'll be able to get a draw. I just think that Norwich will be too strong for us. To very early in the season, we were lucky not to lose to them at our ground, but we held them to a draw, so that's the main thing. But I just think at their ground, it's going to be a lot harder game. Obviously, Norwich and Leeds are both fighting for that top place, and I just think that Norwich will do it. And then Preston versus Villa, I've said a 2-0 Villa win. Obviously, Villa, I think it's like 11th in the table, and they're going to be wanting to fight to get back into the playoffs. Obviously, they haven't had the best starts with getting rid of Steve Bruce and stuff like that, but now they're going to want to be turning the season round and at least getting the playoffs, but we'll see. And then QPR versus Reading, I've said a 2-0 QPR win. I think QPR will win it. They're at home. Obviously, they've turned into a good side, and Reading aren't doing very well. I've gone for 2-0 win for them. Sheffield United versus Blackburn, I've said a 2-1 Sheffield United win. Obviously, Sheffield United need the win to stay up in the playoffs and stuff like that, and I think they'll get it. Swansea versus Wigan, I've said a 1-1 draw. I won't say I've said are in the best forms at the minute, and I can't see that changing yet. I think it'll finish 1-0. And then last game on Saturday is West Brom versus Sheffield Wednesday. I've said a 3-2 West Brom win. I don't know why I've put West Brom to concede to, because it probably not happened, but, you know, that's what I've gone for. So now we move on to New Year's Day fixtures. Right, guys, so moving on to New Year's Day is Tuesday the 1st of January. First game is Villa versus QPR. I've said a 2-2 draw. You know, QPR are a good side, Villa are a good side, and I think QPR will just go and get a draw there. Plus, I don't know if Jack Grealish is back for that game, so I do think QPR will go there and get a draw. Then Blackburn versus West Brom, I've said a 2-1 West Brom win. I think it will be a close game just because it's at Blackburn's ground and they'll keep it close. But I've still said West Brom will win it 2-1. And then moving on to Brentford versus Norwich, I've said a 1-0 Norwich win. I think Norwich will win it, but again, it's away from home and I think it'll be a close game. I just think that's what it'll be. Derby versus Middlesbrough, I've said a 3-1 Derby win. I just think that after having 2 away games like that, I just think that at home it is a must-win, and I think we'll get the must-win. And let's be honest, Middlesbrough have had a bit of a bad patch, and it all depends on if they come out of the bad patch from the next 2 games before they play us. but I've said a 3-1 Derby win. Then Hull versus Bolton, I've said a 2-0 Hull win. Obviously, Hull have picked up a bit of form at the minute. They're at home for this game as well. Bolton are in the relegation zone. And if Hull want to avoid the relegation zone, this is a game where they need the 3 points, you know. They need to be moving away from the bottom 3. And this is a game that they must win. Then Ipswich versus Millwall, I've put a 1-0 Ipswich win. I do think that Ipswich will win this one. Obviously, both sides are down in that bottom half of the table. It's a must-win for either side. You know, if they want to avoid the relegation, this is a must-win. But I've said a 1-0 Ipswich win. Then Forest versus Leeds, I have said a 2-1 Leeds win. Obviously, Forest have gone downhill a bit. But if they can recover on these next 2 games, they could win that because it's at home. But on the form at the minute, I think Leeds will win 2-1. You know, the top of the league at the minute. And I just think that is a game where they will go out for another win. Obviously, it was 1-1 at Leeds' ground, so who knows. And then Reading versus Swansea, I've said a 2-1 Swansea win. Swansea need the win, to be fair. They're a side that's just come down from Premier League and they want to be bouncing back up. So I've said 2-1 Swansea win. Rotherham versus Preston, I've said 1-1. You know, Rotherham are a good side at home. They're quite a good side at home where they could hold Preston to a point, and I think they will do. So I've said a 1-1. Sheffield Wednesday versus Birmingham, I've said a 3-1 Birmingham winning. Birmingham, the better side out of the 2. I just think they'll win 3-1 in this one. Stoke versus Bristol City, I've gone for a 1-1 draw. I think Bristol City will go there for a draw. I don't think... They might try and scrape a win, but they ain't going to get it. I've just said a 1-1 draw. Then Wigan versus Sheffield United, I've said 2-1 Sheffield United win. I just think they'll go there and get it. But yeah, thank you for watching, guys. Make sure you like and subscribe. Also, comment your score predictions down below for any of the fixtures. Any of them, even if it's just your own team, then that's fine. So it's nice to see what everyone else has to say. And have a good Christmas, guys. And stay safe. Thank you for watching, guys.